Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Securities Docket Update. For our first story, crypto exchange Kraken announced publicly the other day that the SEC agreed in principle to drop its charges against the company. This decision marks a major turning point in the U.S. crypto regulation. And the SEC, which previously charged Kraken in 2023 with operating an unregistered securities exchange, broker-dealer, and clearing agency, has now agreed to dismiss the charges with prejudice, meaning that it cannot be reopened. For our second story, the General Services Administration has announced its plan to cut leases associated with the SEC's LA, Chicago, and Philadelphia regional offices. While some see this as an inevitable shift in the greater kind of context of cost cutting and the rise of remote work, others warn that eliminating these physical office spaces may weaken the SEC's enforcement capabilities and presence within these jurisdictions. For our third story, Coinbase has submitted a Freedom of Information Act request, also known as a FOIA request, demanding transparency on how much the SEC has spent on crypto enforcement under former chair Gary Gensler. This request seeks details on the total number of crypto-related investigations. For our fourth story, we address the backlash that the SEC is facing over its crypto enforcement so-called regulatory reverse sweep, a term coined by our own Bruce Carton in our daily newsletter earlier this week, was picked up by John Reed Stark, former SEC enforcement attorney, who argues that really, this decision by the SEC to dismantle its crypto enforcement program is somewhat irresponsible and signals open season for fraudsters in the space. For our fifth story, the SEC commissioners have come to the defense of enforcement staff amid criticism. The SEC enforcement staff have come under fire recently after a series of high-profile crypto case dismissals, with critics like Cameron Winklevoss, which we reported on last week, arguing that the SEC personnel should be held accountable for unsuccessful investigations. In response, Commissioner Carolyn Crenshaw defended SEC employees, emphasizing that enforcement decisions ultimately rest with the commission itself, not the staff executing those directives. Commissioner Hester Peirce echoed that sentiment, arguing that the blame or credit for SEC actions belongs with the commission itself. Well, that's it for this week's Securities Docket Weekly Update. I'm Braden Anderson. Thank you for spending this time with us. If you're not subscribed, you better smash that like button right now. I'm watching you. Thank you if you already are. I'll see you next week.